Hey guys, this is Justin with Bob's Watches, and today we're going to be talking about one of the world's most iconic wristwatches, the Omega Speedmaster. But more specifically, we're going to be talking about how to use the Omega Speedmaster. We're going to go over the use of the tachymeter bezel and also the use of the chronograph function. So as always, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for future content. The Speedmaster Moonwatch by Omega is one of the most recognizable watches of all time. You can spot the dial from across the room. Part of the reason for that is that it's very simple. It's a black and white dial, it's extremely clean, and it has 3 subdials and a center-mounted second hand. Let's start off by taking a look at the subdials and what each of them does. At the 3 o'clock position, you'll see a minute counting subdial that goes up to 30 minutes in time. And then at the 6 o'clock position, we have an hour subdial that tracks up to 12 hours. And then the 9 o'clock subdial is your running seconds hand, and this is the seconds that just keeps time as you're wearing the watch day to day. The center-mounted seconds hand is the timer that's used in conjunction with the chronograph and the tachymeter function. The chronograph on the Omega Speedmaster is a very simple complication, and it operates much like a chronograph you'd find on any other watch. It has a really standard layout of a crown with 2 pushers on the right-hand side, whereas the top pusher starts and stops the chronograph function, and the bottom pusher resets the chronograph back to 0. If you're unfamiliar with the watch, it looks like it might not be operating properly because the center-mounted seconds hand is always straight up at the 12 o'clock position until you start timing something. Once you start timing an event, by pushing the top pusher, the seconds hand in the center position starts to move around. As minutes are tracked, the 3 o'clock subdial will keep track of those up to 30 minutes, and as hours are tracked, the 6 o'clock subdial will keep track of those. So the Omega Speedmaster can keep track of time up to 12 hours. Then we use the top pusher one more time to stop, and if we'd like to reset, we use the bottom pusher to zero everything back out. Next, we're going to talk about the Speedmaster's tachymeter complication. First off, what is a tachymeter? Tachymeter is a scale to measure both speed and distance. And on the Omega Speedmaster, it's located around the outside of the bezel right here, and it's graduated from 500 to 60. To use the tachymeter complication on the Speedmaster, first thing you need to do is choose a unit of reference. The 2 most common will be miles or kilometers. Second, you need a visual reference for one of those units. The mile markers on a highway are a really good example of this. So let's use the tachymeter bezel with the highway example. So we want to come up to 1 mile marker, and when we pass it for the first time, we hit the top button to start timing. The seconds hand will start moving. As we're driving along, we wait until we come up to the 2nd mile marker, and as we pass that 2nd mile marker, we hit the top button again to stop it. Now to make your reading, you use the center-mounted seconds hand. It's pointing to the tachymeter bezel and the scale around it. In this case, it's about 400. So your speed would be an average of 400 miles or kilometers per hour for that distance. Hopefully this sheds some light on how to use the functions of the Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch. It's really a simple watch with a couple really important complications that there are tons of uses for in your day-to-day life. As always, be sure to like and subscribe for more reviews, comparisons, and how-to guides.